listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Hello, everybody. I am Roger B. You're listening to Locked and Loaded on America's Web Radio. And we're going to start off today with an unusual story, but it's something that everybody needs to be aware of, because I think you got to watch out what you put online, what you post, what you say to people, what you do. There was a couple that apparently were friends of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and they had her officiate their wedding ceremony. And this was, I think, back in August. So she posted pictures from the wedding and this and that. And all of a sudden, when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, these people decided to come smashing them, saying, you killed her because you had to have your wedding officiated by her. It's your fault. There's going to be something, you're going to have to pay for this. Some pledged to take them to account for their misdeeds. They're blaming these people for having her officiate their wedding. Now, this tells me one of two things. One, they asked her, she said yes. I doubt there was any coercement there, but the fact that they did this and they're holding them accountable for her death, even though they had nothing to do with it. She had pancreatic cancer. She was 87 years old. It's not like she was a 20-year-old who got hit by a stray arrow at some kind of, or a wedding limo. And that says something else. Do they think Ruth Bader Ginsburg was not of sound mind to make a decision to do this? Are they blaming her for this? Hey, I was like, either way you look at this, it's going to be bad. So be aware of what you do. These are people who had no issues. They're probably liberals anyway.
I heard that the Democrat Party is not accepting the results of her death. So I don't know what that means.
It was COVID, right?
But yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah, they're going to reverse that decision. But this is, just so you could go and do something that you think is perfectly innocent, and people will start bashing you on social media, start making threats to you. So this is the kind of thing you have to watch out for. This is the kind of thing you have to be aware of. You post something on social media, all of a sudden you could become a target. And you don't necessarily want to be. You could have the best of intentions, and people can twist what you do around and make you into a target. Suddenly your family, your household, your friends, yourself are in danger of being persecuted by these crazy, idiotic liberals.
Look, don't let your quest for likes and clicks just glue you to social media, because then you're going to start posting things like Roger said. You might come to regret, because there are some crazy people out there.
Yeah, but like I said, this shouldn't be a regrettable incident. This couple had her officiate their wedding, and they had pictures of her with a mask on at the wedding, but they still think, oh my God, you killed Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Well, okay. Don't ever underestimate the Democrats and the left's ability or willingness to throw their own under
a bus,
so
a
to
train,
speak.
A subway.
Because the wedding that she officiated, they weren't conservatives.
No.
They weren't Republican people. They were Democrat voters. But now they're being accused of killing Ruth. Look, Ruth is a smart lady. So now, am I supposed to believe that the Democrat Party is telling me that Ruth was a stupid lady? That she wasn't
she
smart
couldn't make a
enough
decision.
to make her own decision?
She was not of sound mind at the time?
Right. So are they
what was
saying
she doing
was
serving
like
on the court?
Exactly. If she wasn't smart enough to make a decision that she made to go officiate this wedding, then how could she be sitting on the court, which they wanted her? They would still put her on that court if they could prop her up. That's terrible. I shouldn't say that. Bad host.
Ruth. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Justice Ginsburg.
Yeah.
Ruthie.
Well,
no, we don't want to be disrespectful.
But I wouldn't. Look, I
didn't know her that well.
Last week on my show, I talked about she truly was remarkable.
Oh, yeah.
And her accomplishments were remarkable. I mean, Justice Ginsburg.
And that's what Trump said when he first found out about her death.
He did. He really did. He did.
She was a remarkable woman. She led a remarkable life. He never had anything disparaging to say about her.
Right. And Justice Ginsburg, yes, she was an activist and made some activist decisions. But if you look at some of her other writings and some of the things that she says, she really did speak highly of the Constitution.
Right.
She didn't want to change it. She didn't want to do anything in and around. But except through some activist decisions. But she did accomplish a lot.
Right.
She should be.
And we
She
should-
should be
we-
hailed as.
We should pay respect to her, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
but know that if you're on the wrong side of something with some of these people,
Yeah.
they will
They don't care
will
what you
threaten
think.
you,
Yeah.
literally threaten you for having her officiate a wedding.
Yeah.
I mean, what is wrong with that?
I'll give you another example. You can be a Democrat all your life, and you could have voted all your life up to this point for Democrats. But now, because you see the results of a businessman, you're not switching parties, but you're supporting Trump. They will come after you with a vengeance. It doesn't matter that you've got a history of being a Democrat. The fact that you will actually make your own decision, that's not allowed in today's Democrat Party.
And especially with protesting and rioting and all the stuff going on now, you have to be extremely careful. If you irritate a neighbor, you could all of a sudden start a feud in your own neighborhood.
Yeah, here come the McCoys.
So it's like, you have to be extremely prepared for this kind of thing. This is not the kind of thing you used to have to worry about before. Before you had a disagreement with a neighbor, you gave each other the one finger salute here and again, and that was it. That was the end of it. Now there's people willing to burn your house down because you disagree with them politically.
You had a problem with a yard Nazi.
Yeah, they're exactly. I mean, you dealt with it on a more adult level, but now you have to be prepared for possible violence against your household because you hold a certain political opinion.
Yep.
Now we're going to go to a Darwin story, a Darwin Award here.
Love Darwin stories.
Yes, there was a Denver Police Department. Okay, they responded to a report of a possible armed man near a high school in the Lincoln Park neighborhood. Upon the police arrival, the man allegedly pointed what appeared to be a real handgun at them, causing them to fire. They later learned the man was armed with a realistic-looking BB gun. Okay, now I don't care who you are. If someone points a gun at you, whether it's a BB gun, a real gun, a Nerf gun, painted all black to look dangerous. Within reason, a cop has to make a decision instantly. And apparently this was a very realistic version of the gun. I'm sure it did not have the orange tip on it.
Well, they probably took it off.
Maybe,
Some people
yeah.
will
Or
take it
painted
off to
over
make
it
it
just to
look-
make it look real.
There are people in New York who can't have guns, so they'll take a toy gun and make it look real so they can scare a criminal.
That's right. And sometimes that's all it takes. It would suck
and
if they had a
usually
real
that's
gun
all it
too and they started shooting.
Well,
And all
right.
you have is a BB gun.
Yeah,
But,
usually all it takes is a show. But you're right, Roger.
But
If
they'd-
you're in a situation and you point a gun at a cop,
Yeah, that's
what do you
suicide by
think's
cop.
gonna happen?
Yeah, they're not going to just stand there and go, oh, "Wait, is that real? Is that a real gun?
Yeah.
Can you shoot over here just to show me if it's real?"
Hey,
No.
if I'm in a store somewhere or a shopping mall and you point a gun to me, I might give you a little more leeway, but I'm going to get in the position to get ready to shoot you
That's
with
right.
a real gun.
Yeah, whether yours is real or not.
Whether yours is real or not.
So this is just crazy. And it's funny because they identified themselves as police, commanded him to drop the weapon. Instead of dropping the weapon, he turned around to face them and walked toward them with the gun still in hand. Yay. They continued to give commands until he raised the gun at officers, and that moved the Denver officers to fire upon him. And then they rendered aid to him, but he was dead on the scene.
DRT.
And they located a realistic replica of a Glock handgun at the scene to be the one carried by this guy. So now they realized, it was an airsoft gun, but at the time they thought it was real. Because if you've seen airsoft guns, they're designed to look exactly
real,
as
yeah.
the originals. That's how
Yeah.
they're designed to look. And I don't care if you don't point your phone at a police officer if he says drop it. You can't necessarily tell what you've got in your hand.
Absolutely.
You start acting in a threatening manner with something in your hand, you're going to present yourself as a target.
Yep.
And they're going to have to neutralize you one way or another. So, if you want to commit suicide by cop, this is one way to do it. Point something at a cop and claim you're going to shoot them. Yeah, that's just stupidity. Now, this guy, I think, was a white guy, so there may not be any BLM
then-
love for this
then
guy.
you won't hear about it.
Yeah.
If it's a white guy that got shot, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's the rules of today's.
Now, unfortunately, both officers have been placed on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. I don't know what the investigation is going to tell them. He pointed what looked like a gun at me, threatened to shoot me,
You're right.
so I shot him first.
But it's standard procedure, and no buildings getting burnt down, no businesses being looted, no police
Right.
departments being burnt. Yeah, the wheels of justice will turn.
Yeah, it's nuts. This is the kind of thing you want to avoid. Don't point anything at an officer if you want to live to see another day.
If you want to breathe that good, awesome air, then don't point a weapon at a cop.
Yeah, that's
Look,
should be. I mean, unless he's wrestling with somebody on the ground and you're trying to get to the
Right.
guy who's trying to beat him up, I would avoid that situation.
Right.
Now, as a lot of you are probably following, there's a fellow named Kyle Rittenhouse. He was assaulted by 3 people, ended up killing 2 of them, maiming one of them, after they came after him as he was running away from the scene of a shooting where the guy threatened to kill him. He was running away from the scene, and then they knocked him down. Some guy tried to bash his head in with a skateboard. He shot and killed that guy. And another guy came up to him, pointing a gun at his head. He fired a shot at him, blowing off most of his arm. And it's odd that all 3 of the people he shot were convicted felons. One was a convicted child abuser, molester. One was a convicted domestic abuser, so he liked to beat up women, girlfriends, mothers, whatever. He beat up people. So he was and the last guy was a convicted felon for several things, and he's in possession of a handgun, which is a violation of any kind of parole or any kind of
Right.
liberties there. And he was pointing it at somebody, and he got his arm blown off. So, but now Facebook is declaring this guy a mass murderer, and they won't allow any posts to support him. Now, I've seen there's a video out there. His lawyer has put together a video with new footage they've got from various, right now you
Yeah.
can't go anywhere without getting video recorded.
Right.
No doubt about it.
People need to remember that.
That's right. Don't do anything you wouldn't want everybody to see,
Yeah,
because
you know.
everybody's going to see it.
If you don't want everybody to see it, then
Then don't do it.
You have to assume, no matter where you are, there's a good chance you're going to be
Somebody's
on
watching you, so
video.
do the right thing. That's actually a good, do the right thing because somebody's watching.
Yeah.
But you should do the right thing whether somebody's
Live
watching
by
or
it
not.
yeah.
That's basically the definition of integrity.
Well, the integrity, yeah. I was going to say the definition of integrity, character is doing the right thing
Doing the right
when
thing
no one's
when
watching.
no one's there to see. So they're designating him as a mass murderer, so they're not allowing any support.
Big
You know,
tech.
I started looking, going, I wonder what other guys are out there. What do they allow support of? There's this serial rapist. What's his name? Blake, Anton Blake,
Yeah.
who they torch cities in his name, even though he was a serial rapist and serial abuser. He had served time in prison for a rape, went back to his victim's house, raped her again, stole her keys, stole her credit card, started using the credit cards immediately,
Yep.
and stole her car, and yet he's a hero.
Well, you see, he was a Biden voter.
Yeah,
Or Democrat
and
voter.
NFL players had his name on their helmet, so
And
they
they have
support.
his name.
And I thought about it, and I go, well, the NFL must support serial rapists. That must be the kind of thing they stand for: rapists, abusers.
Maybe-
because
maybe
they have
they,
so many in their midst. They figure, well, let's stand up and support the guys who we like to be like.
Maybe they think thuggery is cool, and that's it's,
Whether it's illegal or not, it doesn't matter.
right.
As long as it's cool.
Not to them, as long as it's cool. It's ridiculous what
Hmm.
they're. There used to be a Me Too movement. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when the Democrats pretended to be against womanizers, and they pretended to hate
All women are supposed to be
men,
believed.
and all women are supposed to be believed, and all men who abuse women should be, castigated.
Well, just so you know, if
But-
you want to support Kyle Rittenhouse, fightback.law
Yeah, Fight
has a
Back.
site where you can donate to his legal cause and support him. Because if you watch this 11-minute video they put out on him, he was being assaulted, he was being run down, he was being chased. He never was the aggressor. In fact, he was running towards police
Yeah.
to surrender himself to the police, and the police just kind of rolled on by and weren't interested in.
He was actually running towards the police so he wouldn't have to face the people chasing him.
To
and,
avoid.
and the guy, he was trying to avoid conflict.
All right, we're going to be right back after a few messages. I am Roger B. This is Locked and Loaded, and you're listening to America's Web Radio.
If you live
Man, this is so funny. What they're trying to do to Trump with this.
One funny one I got today where Joe Biden is like a mechanic who's worked on your car for 47 years and now tells you he just needs 4 more years.
I just need it for one more year.
Welcome back. I'm Roger B. This is Locked and Loaded, and you're listening to America's Web Radio. And that other voice you hear chiming in, just in case you don't recognize him, he's one of the most famous people here at America's Web Radio, Victor Armendariz from the On Point with Victor show.
I don't know about famous, but hey, you
Infamous.
know. Infamous.
Notorious.
Notorious.
Notorious Victor.
Notorious B.I.C.
That's right, in the house. But here we go. Kyle Rittenhouse, I mean, if you want to donate to his cause, fightback.law. I think this is actually going to be a support of gun laws in general and the ability for self-defense. Because if you watch what happened, there was no way anything else could have happened without this kid being killed.
Right.
Somebody was out. I mean, they chasing him down with a handgun, pointing at his head just as he shot the guy in the arm.
They weren't chasing him to shake his hand.
No.
And they weren't chasing him to have a dialogue or a debate. When they caught him, the first guy had his head with a skateboard.
Yeah.
And then the other guy brought up the gun. You know, that guy with the gun first put his hands up and acted like he was retreating. Then he pointed the gun, and that's when Kyle blew his arm off.
Yeah. So that's a clear.
It is a clear self-defense. So the kid, any of you back up the video, the kid was there to help people. He had a first aid kit. He was there.
trained.
Exactly. He was there to help. He was there to put out a fire. He was there to protect a business when they started coming to him. He didn't go after them to have an argument. They came to him.
Right. And that's now, as much as I admire the fact that he was there to help, he was there to get things done, it's unfortunate that this happened to him and he was put in this situation. In my opinion, you know, as much as I would like to help, as much as I would like to defend businesses, whether they're mine or not, especially if they're mine, but if they're not, you put yourself in a precarious situation of potentially having to do harm to somebody in the name of somebody else's business. And it's a matter of, do this? I mean, does no good deed go unpunished?
The sad thing is, I think this is going to discourage people when what he was doing, it wasn't just about protecting somebody else's business or being paid to protect a business like as any security guard.
Being paid.
No, I'm just saying there are people. Look, there's a guy that got shot in the other city where they did this. Black retired officer who was paid to secure a business, and they shot him.
Yeah.
And killed him. But and you don't see his name.
Because not all Black Lives Matter, just some of them.
Exactly. You don't see his name on anybody's jersey. But my point is, you got a guy who clearly defended himself because, maybe he wanted to help protect a business, but maybe he just wanted to stand up for his own rights. No, the police weren't doing anything. The police could not help. And so are you going to stand by and allow looters to come to your neighborhood and start burning down? So at some point, there may be a time when you have to just...
Right, you have to make that decision. And it's going to be a tough decision to make because the law is not on your side anymore. Whether you are completely correct, you are on the side of the law, the DAs may decide, they don't like your politics, and they may decide to prosecute you anyway, despite the fact that you did everything by the legal book.
You had put it to you this way. Kyle has a Second Amendment right to defend himself, and he got arrested.
Right.
The guy who pointed a gun at him and threatened his life, who is a felon with a gun, a known convicted felon with a gun, has yet to be arrested.
Yet to be charged with anything. Absolutely right. Even though he started this whole thing by chasing him down.
Right. So the guy with the constitutional right has been arrested, and the guy who is a felon, who's just breaking, there's felonies everywhere.
Right.
Has yet to be charged.
Right. It's
because of political
Keep movements. This in mind, though. The law, even though you may have the law on your side, the law where you are may not back you up. Yeah. They may not come to your protection. They may not be fair. Fairness and equality under the law has seemed to have slipped away from many of these cities where the rioting, the burning, looting, murdering, the anti-American fascists are running rampant. Mm-hmm. So be aware, be careful, be very careful when you make a decision to use a firearm to defend yourself. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, you may be found to be on the wrong side, even though you're completely right.
Well, if you're in a Democrat-run city, you need to think hard.
Yeah, and you have to be careful because
now
who knows?
If it's you and the criminal, you do what you got to do to save your life.
Well, there's the old adage.
Period. But
I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Carried by 6.
And I hope Kyle's case turns out that way, where he gets. A jury will look at this and go, there is no way this could have gone any other way without him being dead.
Yeah. If they don't, really, they ought to get this case thrown out. And I have a feeling this case is never going to make it past. It'll get thrown out because
I hope so. There's no reason why he should even have to go through this at all.
Absolutely not. I do believe. And if his lawyers, which I know he's got a fantastic lawyer.
Lynn Wood,
yeah. Lynn Wood is heading this up. I would, once he gets Kyle secured and his rights upheld, they need to go after this dirtbag who tried to kill him.
Yeah. Now, in case you don't know, Lynn Wood is the guy who represented Nick Sandmann and got a $250 million judgment against CNN, and he's not done yet. He's going after other news sources also. So hopefully, hopefully he'll end up with Kyle in the same situation. He'll sue the city for even pressing charges against somebody for a self-defense shooting.
Well, they absolutely need to counter-sue, because what those DAs and the AGs doing in Kenosha, Wisconsin, wherever.
Kenosha,
yeah. Wisconsin.
Kenosha, Wisconsin. Wisconsin, eh?
What they're doing, violating his rights, they need to be sued.
Yes, because it wasn't like there wasn't enough evidence to show what happened.
Oh, there's plenty of
there's hundreds of
there's even
videos
evidence we haven't seen.
Right, and I'm sure they've got that just held back.
Yeah, and you know who will see it? The grand jury.
The grand jury, the attorneys. Yeah. Hopefully it'll come to that. It'll be done with.
Oh, it'll get thrown out.
I seriously hope so, and I hope this guy is heralded as the hero he is for standing up for Americans to have a right to live in peace. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because now it's coming. It's funny because I saw this article in the New York Times, and they're talking about confrontational Portland protesters divided over whether or not they should kill cops.
Oh, gosh.
So, if you're relying on the police for protection, you may be holding your breath for a long time until they actually come to your assistance, because they don't want to get tangled up in this. Yeah. They don't want to be on the wrong end of a shooting that has any questionable factors to it.
These Democrats, Biden included, have been calling for defunding police. And these Democrat-run cities, some of them are actually going forward with defunding the police. But even without these idiot politicians defunding the police, you have got a record number of police officers who are taking early retirements.
Right, getting out of the game.
So they're going to defund it for you folks. You people living in these Democrat cities, you're going to get your wish. Yep. Because these cops are not going to stand there and take this abuse.
And be prepared to be your own first responder.
You better.
And when you have to shoot somebody for breaking into your house, be aware the district attorney is probably going to charge you with shooting somebody unless they shoot you first.
So if someone breaks in your house and you shoot them, roll them up, put them in the trunk, take them to a Democrat house, and unroll them and leave them on the doorstep.
Yeah, because your rights are diminishing fast. They're eroding away so quickly. Before you know it, it's going to be really tough to be able to defend yourself against anybody threatening you or your neighborhood. Yeah. I don't know. And that's another thing that we're talking about in Portland, is that a lot of the protesters there are talking about they're going to change their tactics and they're going to go into neighborhoods to protest, residential neighborhoods. And they're going to start protesting. Well, when I say protesting, burn, loot, murder, riot, steal, whatever you want to call it. They're going to start doing this kind of protesting in residential neighborhoods. So if you think you're safe because you live in a residential neighborhood, don't believe that, because these people are going to go where the opportunity is. Now, I don't know if you've thought about that, but how far can you go to protect yourself? There was a black man, business owner, veteran, who's been targeted by nightly demonstrations because he had an American flag on his porch. So the man was proud of his country, flew an American flag, and the protesters were coming to his house. Even though he was a black man, a veteran, and a business owner in the neighborhood, they came to protest and demonstrate at his house because he had a flag flying. So, and they were calling him all kinds of names. How dare you fly the American flag? That's what it's come to. This country, to fly your own country's flag is becoming something that irritates these crazy, ridiculous, burn, loot, murder, anti-American fascist morons. And it's going to come down. They're pushing this to the point where there's going to be no turning back. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm hoping the politicians will see the error of their ways, reverse some of these positions they're taking on defunding police, and have the DAs and attorney generals go, you know what, we need to prosecute the guys who are causing the problems, not the guys who are defending themselves against it.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Minneapolis has now reversed some of their decisions to defund police because the crime rate skyrocketed.
So they went forward with defunding the police, and now the city council in Minneapolis are throwing their hands up going, oh, gosh, we made him. Well, I can tell you they're probably not saying they made a mistake, but they're out there going, oh, this defunding the police, not a good idea. So they're trying to backtrack.
Well, they need to. And, at this point, even if they admit they made a mistake and back up whatever they have to do to protect the citizens, I think the citizens will appreciate it.
Well, some of them will. A lot of these Democrats called for it, but I'll tell you, they pushed a lot of these. I'm convinced that Minnesota's in play, and I think Trump might win it, and it's because of this defunding business.
Yeah,
defunding the police.
Most people, now granted, most people don't have an issue with police officers.
Right.
Now, granted, a lot of people, their interactions with police are not always positive because most people, when they interact with police, I would bet most people are involved in a traffic stop.
Right.
And it's rarely something where they want to be involved in it.
Yep.
You know, it's some minor traffic infraction, and that's when they usually have interactions with police.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the politicians have turned the police into revenue collectors.
Well, they've done that, and at the same time, they turn them into the enemy, or they try and turn them into the enemy just based on color.
I mean, what is it? Was it the mayor of Portland who was protesting with these idiots?
With these idiots, yeah.
How can you support your own police department when you're protesting against your own police department?
Exactly.
Just to get public sway? And I wonder what percentage of people out there are truly the ones who go out there and burn and loot and murder.
Right.
What percentage of people, regardless of party, are out there doing it? I bet it's a tiny, small percentage, less than 5%.
Oh,
and the other 95% of the people going, this is madness. Yeah. Nobody wants this.
Your average Joe Schmo who wants to go to work and come home and watch sports or do whatever.
Yeah, and take a vacation now and again, go to a bar, hang out.
They don't want to defund the police. And that's why I'm telling you, there are states that are in play that maybe they would have voted for Democrats, and maybe that's what they've done all their life, but they're not going to vote for this defunding the police.
I hope so. If you're out there and you're thinking about voting for somebody who supports this kind of stuff, I hope you look hard at your choices and make a decision not based on party, not based on, any kind of liberal or conservative allegiance. Make it based on decisions that these people have made when they've shown you what they stand for. If you stand that way, fine. If you don't, vote against them.
Right.
You want your city back? Vote the way that will get your city back to you.
Honestly, this election is so simple. If you believe in safety, if you believe in security, and if you just believe in the rule of law, you can't vote for today's Democrats.
Well, or anybody who believes in defunding the police, regardless of party. If you vote for defunding the police, you're putting yourself in danger. You're putting yourself in that situation. And when you complain about it, my ears will be deaf to you because you voted for this.
Yeah.
You put this in play. You put these people in power. And then you don't agree with what they do. Well, think about next time you vote. Don't look at a D or an R. Look at what these people stand for. Look at what they're willing to do.
Yeah. Look what they're willing to do to you.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you.
Or not willing to do for you.
There's no politician that's going without police. There's no politician that's going without armed guards. There's no politician that is going to be subject to the crime level that you and me will be subject to.
Well, that's like in Chicago. The mayor of Chicago recalled police officers from all the residential neighborhoods to be in the city except for her neighborhood.
Yep.
Because she felt like she had a right to safety.
Her life is more important than yours because she's
a politician.
Freaking politician.
She's supposed to be a representative. She's not a ruler. She's a representative. She represents the people who vote for her.
A true representative to government, if there was an honest one, and there are, but a true representative sees first and foremost that the people that they represent are the securest of the secure.
Right, exactly.
Worry about their own butts.
Protect your constituency first. If they're safe, then they're going to feel like you're doing a good job. But when you throw them to the wolves,
because you want power,
and you have to defend yourself. If that's the way you want things, that's fine. If you want to see chaos, if you want to see anarchy, if you think that's the way your children should be raised, that's what you want in your neighborhoods, by all means, vote for the people who bring this with them. Yeah. If you don't want that, then vote against it.
Right.
Even if you've been a lifelong supporter of one party or another, look at who's supporting you.
I mean, it comes down to you vote for policy. Stop voting for letters of the alphabet. And trust me, your life will get much better.
Yeah, because in Portland, it's just, I mean, they're going to neighborhoods now. I've seen protesters go to restaurants, like sidewalk restaurants, and start threatening people, saying, "Put your fist up in solidarity," or else it's like, or else what? They haven't done anything yet, but they scream at them, they yell at them with bullhorns.
They get this. The mob descended on a business. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the city, but they descended on a business because the man was there protecting it, and they got in his face, and they tried to force him to put his fist in the air, and he wouldn't do it, and he said, "Look, all lives matter," and they just got pissed and screaming at him, calling him every racist and everything. This guy was from Jordan, a Middle Eastern country. This guy's a Muslim, but that is, again, the Democrat Party could care less what your history, even if you've been a lifelong Democrat. If you don't toe today's line, they will descend on you with the same rigor that they'll descend on a perceived Republican.
So if you have a Black Lives Matter sign in your yard, don't think that's going to protect you.
They're coming to you first because they know you're weak.
Yeah, that's not going to protect you. These people will not stand for anybody who's dissenting with them. You have to follow them along, or you're going to be a subject of possible persecution, which is crazy.
Look where the cancel culture comes from. Cancel culture is not coming from freedom-loving Americans. It's coming from the left.
Yeah, people who don't want this stuff to happen.
They don't want dissenting other opinions or disagreements.
But in all this darkness, I'm going to shine a ray of light into the darkness that is going on right now.
You brought a flashlight with you?
No, I have a court decision. Woo-hoo. 2 of them, actually. Now, I don't know if you've been listening, but we've been following this case for a while. In California, of all places, Judge Benitez, Roger Benitez, good strong name. He ruled on a case that California could not restrict the magazine capacity of weapons based on safety or anything like that. That there was no information that showed that this had anything to do with stopping crime. So he reversed their restrictions on magazine capacity. So, of course, immediately the Attorney General filed an appeal. However, there was 1 week, Freedom Week in California, where the magazine ban was non-existent. So people could order magazines, and approximately 1.4 million magazines rolled into the state of standard capacity, which were formerly called high capacity, but they're standard capacity. So now the Attorney General put a stay on that and filed for an appeal with the Ninth Circuit Court.
Ninth Circus.
And they had an appeal go with, I believe it was, I spoke to Mark the Shark today about this.
Excellent.
So he gave me the rundown. They do what's called a partial appeal. The 3 members of the court look at the case, decide its merits or non-merits, decide who's right, who's wrong, and they ruled in favor of Benitez and sent it back down again. Then it was a matter of 30 days. It was going to become law, and the magazines would flow once again.
Right.
However, now the Attorney General has filed a petition for a review of the appeals court ruling. Now, this is called en banc review, which means they want the entire court to review this. Right. So at this point, either the entire court will review it and make a decision, or they will send it back down and say, nope, there's no need to review it. We've already decided, and we're going to let this stand. Now, I don't know what the percentage of cases get en banc overturned or anything like that, but I would think 2 courts have already agreed with this decision. So I hope that the court will look at this appeal and go, nope, there's no reason to appeal this. You're done. Or they'll review it and go, nope, we're standing with the original decision.
It's going to depend on the action of the judges. This is the same thing that happened in the Flynn case.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so now it's going before the full.
Yeah, but now apparently California stands on the brink of eliminating their magazine ban, their standard capacity magazine ban, which I'm sure it will throw the anti-gun nuts into a tizzy on the left coast.
The left coast is going to go berserk. They're going to think
but
the
now,
world's in.
Unfortunately, though, this decision, even if it is upstanding, does not apply nationwide to other states. Each state will have to have somebody in that state bring forth a case to try and sue to eliminate the restrictions on the magazines. And depending on what circuit court is there,
Right.
they could rule with them or against them, regardless of precedent set.
Right, but at least there is some precedent being set, and there are judges being named on a daily basis by.
And I think they should probably start in places where they know the circuit court. In fact, I don't even know if there's other states that have magazine bans that are within the reach of the Ninth Circuit Court.
Yeah, I don't
There probably are. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
And if there are, then I would assume that precedent would already be set for anybody within that circuit court's ruling. So he could eliminate the magazine bans on a lot of states.
That'd be awesome.
Now, for those of you who don't live in a magazine-restricted state, you're going, what the hell? What do you mean restricted magazine? What can I buy? As you're sitting there loading your 60-round AK mag up going, what does restricted
What
mean?
is restricted? Hey, look, if you're in a nice red conservative constitutional state, you don't have these problems.
Well, let me tell you something. The whole magazine ban started in 1994, was written, proposed, and pushed through by, what was that guy's name? Oh, that's right, Joe Biden.
Let's see. And it was the same guy that had, that kind of wrote and had a say in the crime bill of 95.
94, yeah. That's exactly what we're talking about. The crime bill.
94.
The crime bill in 94 restricted magazines.
Biden.
This was Joe Biden. So if you believe in your gun rights, Joe Biden has already said he's going to come back strong. He's going to implement the quote-unquote assault weapons ban again. He's going to limit magazines. He's going to limit the types of weapons you're allowed to have. So if you have any desire to ever own weapons of any particular type or style, know that Joe Biden is going to try and take that away from you. Kamala Harris said within the first 60 days of her becoming president, she would take executive action to eliminate weapons she did not feel were appropriate for people to own.
Kamala Harris, who you're being told now she is the smartest woman in politics. This so-called smart woman is trying to convince you that her executive order can trump the United States Constitution.
Yeah, which I'd like to, obviously that should not ever happen. However,
you can't executive order away the Second Amendment.
But you know what? There's so many restrictions on it now, you kind of wonder how far can they push this?
Well, they can push, and they always will. But she basically outright said that she, through executive order, would take care of guns, and you can't do that. But
well, you would think not. But yet, the way things are going, I wonder if they would push it through somehow. If Nancy Pelosi gets a majority in the House, and the Democrats or the anti-gunners grab a majority in the Senate, there's no telling what they will try and pass, whether it's legal or not.
Look, I can tell you, it's over if the Democrats ever got their justices on the bench, and they got the Senate and the presidency and the House, then forget about it. This country
the Second Amendment will no longer exist.
No,
and the First Amendment will no longer exist.
The Second Amendment will go first, and the First Amendment will follow.
That's right, because everyone knows the Second Amendment has the back of the First Amendment. Yeah. Without the Second, you won't have the First.
And that's not hyperbole.
That's not fear-mongering. No, that's the truth.
Fear-mongering. It is the absolute truth.
We've already seen bits of it happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
In 94, when they passed the quote-unquote crime bill, they took away your rights to own certain weapons based on what they thought was improper for somebody to own.
When they weren't putting black people in jail under this Biden crime bill, they were going after guns.
That's right. So if you believe in your Second Amendment rights, there's only one way to vote. And I know Trump's not perfect. Everyone's going to go bump stocks, bump stocks, bump stocks. Right. Well, yes, he did push for the banning of bump stocks, which, I feel like he made a mistake there.
Oh, of course. But you can call that throwing a bone to the left, which
right
or wrong.
But you know what? In compromise, we should have got something in return.
Of course we should have.
You should have said, okay, we're going to ban bump stocks, but we're going to have national reciprocity on weapons permits.
Exactly, which is what you and I were calling for.
Yeah, or we're going to push for the National Hearing Protection Act, which would have taken silencers off the 1934 gun restrictions and allowed them to be purchased as regular weapons at any store without a special stamp or without a special tax. Because, when you tax something, that's infringing on somebody's right to own it.
Absolutely.
So when it says shall not be infringed, there we go again.
There we go again.
But anyway,
the actual text of the Constitution.
So California may be opening up to a variety of new magazines available. Let's hope that happens.
Let's hope it happens. They're going to need them.
Yeah, especially the way the police are being defunded.
Yep.
You're going to need, and of course, all you guys out there looking for ammunition, I'm so sorry. It's almost impossible to find.
I just drove this weekend from Atlanta to all the way up to the tip of Ohio, practically in Michigan, and then back down through Tennessee and back here. And I stopped and looked for ammo, and nope. I mean, it's just not out there.
No,
They
it's
just
not.
They can't keep up with production.
Right.
And I also found out, Roger, that freaking Walmart is no longer going to carry 9mm.
Nope, no handgun ammo.
ammo.
Nope, no handgun ammo and no anything they consider
So-
assault rifle ammo.
Yeah, exactly. So
And they were one of the biggest stores to be able to have that. Now, some of the big box stores still honor pricing or keep it consistent because they have contracts
When they can get
for a
it.
year at a time.
Yeah.
So they have to be supplied so much ammo every month based on these contracts in order for them to continue contracts with these companies. And most of these companies know that they have to supply the big box stores, they have to fulfill these contracts, or they will not get a renewal contract, or they'll be in violation of contract.
Right.
So some of the big box stores
Well-
still have it, and there are other places that have it, but it's not cheap.
Look, if you're a sports store, go take advantage because Walmart just took themselves out of the business.
Right, they took themselves out of the game. Now, they still carry 22 and some shotgun ammo and some hunting rifle ammo, anything they
Right.
consider hunting
But you're
rifle
not going
ammo.
to find handgun. You're not going to find 223 either.
Yeah, no AK ammo, no AR ammo,
Yeah.
no handgun
They're-
ammo,
They-
which is
or
disappointing.
They probably, well, maybe they'll have 308. That's considered.
Yeah, that's considered hunting ammo. It'll be
ammo.
soft pointed ammo for hunting. You know, it's not
Yeah.
going to be just practice ammo.
Yeah.
But and after the election, I hope if things go the way of the Second Amendment, ammo sales are going to slow down a little bit. Supply chains are going to fill back
They'll
up.
catch back up.
But don't expect it to happen immediately. It's
No.
going to be months before they fill back up
It's-
those pipelines.
It's going to take a while for them to catch up, no doubt.
Yeah,
No doubt.
because it was there, but it's taken a while for it. It's been depleted.
But it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Once they get caught up, you're going to see your $9, $8 boxes of ammo come back.
It may be
Just
6
in
or 8 months
time-
down the line, but
just in time for Christmas season in 2021.
yeah.
We're going to see that great ammo prices.
Because I was telling people earlier this year, it is the best time ever to buy weapons. They were the cheapest
Yep.
possible. Ammo was as cheap as possible. And
Oh,
I told
man.
everybody.
You could
I
have
told you.
You could have built an AR-15 for under $500.
Oh, yeah, under $400.
Yeah.
They were there. They were out there. They could be had. Now,
But not now.
I mean, everyone's going, is this a good deal? It's like,
There is
depends on what you mean by good deal. For now, this could be a good
It
deal.
might be a good deal for you and your timeline, but it ain't a good deal in respect to
Yeah, a
what-
$30 box of 9mm ammo is a good deal now.
Yeah.
While 6 months ago, it was
$8.
not. It would have been ridiculous, and people were going, "Are you crazy?" But now things are like a guy was pointing today. He bought a 200 round box of 5.56 ammo for about $190, which normally is what you would have paid for a case
For
of
a
steel
case.
case ammo.
Man.
Or $100 more. $285 would have got you a complete 1,000 round case instead of 200
Instead
rounds.
of 200 rounds.
You got 5 times more ammo for the same money 6 short
Hey.
months ago.
Hey, you got to love supply and demand. I mean, it
and
works.
This demand is being driven by violent protesters. Burn, loot,
protesters.
murder crowd, anti-American fascists. They're driving this.
The very crowd, the Biden voter who wants to do away with guns, is driving the
Yeah, they're driving the gun sales.
the price, the sellouts, the record gun sales. They're driving this.
All right, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. We're going to take a quick break. I am Roger B. This is Locked and Loaded, and you're listening to America's Web Radio.
Get your pen and paper ready. If there is a move in your near future, I'm here to tell you that the folks I used and now recommend is Around Town Movers. Timothy and the guys recently moved me, and I am and was totally satisfied with a sometimes not so fun experience moving. Call Timothy at 770-378-4708 and make it a good move and a good experience. Around Town Movers for that local or cross-country move. Timothy, Around Town Movers.
The Docs for
in my
Patient Care
opinion,
Foundation
are the
is your
best.
way to join
That's
the fight and become a
Around
member of
Town
an
Movers.
organization
Call-
created by doctors for patients, dedicated to fighting for your healthcare freedom and preserving the doctor-patient relationship. Get a pen and paper. Write down docs4patientcarefoundation.org. That's DOCS, the number 4, patientcarefoundation.org. Go to our site and please make a generous tax-deductible donation and join the fight today. Thank you.
If you live to serve and want to make an even bigger difference, consider joining the U.S. Army. With training in fields like medical care, linguistics, and engineering, an Army career can amplify your efforts with humanitarian opportunities all over the world. Plus, you'll receive competitive pay and incredible benefits, so you'll be taken care of, too. Learn more at goarmy.com.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And we're back. Thanks for listening. I'm Roger B. This is Locked and Loaded with my special guest, Victor Armendariz from On Point with Victor.
Right here.
Now, if you haven't caught Victor's show, he's on just the hour before me, so you need to listen. He covers all the politics, only politics.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the gun twist on it, but
I don't. Well, I'll mention guns, but not in the Roger B. way.
Yeah.
I always
Now,
do it.
I just got this note, and I'm going to read this real quick. Joe Biden is like a mechanic who's worked on your car for 47 years, and now he tells you he needs just 4 more years to really fix it.
That really is a simplistic but great way to put it.
Now,
it really is.
Now, and any guesses? Okay, this is going to be interesting. Guesses, what was the longest filibuster in U.S. history?
I don't know.
Okay. 1964, 75 days. It was the Democrats trying to stop the Civil Rights Act.
This is the kind of information that people need to know, but
this
they never learn it in school.
That's right. Don't think you're going to, these are the, it's funny because
what
people
year was
say
that?
1964.
Gee, and who was in elected office then?
I don't know.
Joe Biden.
Kennedy? Oh, yeah, that's right. He was.
According to Joe Biden, he has been in the Senate for 180 years.
No, he wasn't in politics till 47 years ago. That was longer than that, wasn't it?
He said it the other day.
Oh, he messed up on his years.
His words, not mine.
Yeah, because he's running for the Senate again, isn't he? That's what he said at one point.
He actually came out and read a teleprompter, and he said, I've been in the Senate for 180 years. I mean,
wow.
You just can't make this stuff up.
He's older than we thought he was.
Yeah, very much older than we thought.
I think he served his dude.
The guy has to be an alien.
Now we're getting this. Now we had our brief light into the darkness with California's law possibly being repealed. Now we're going to go back into the darkness. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Remington Arms Company. Woo-hoo. They've been in business over 200 years. They declared bankruptcy last month. However, they're not going to be gone, apparently. They're accepting bids from other companies to take over their different, divisions or names or whatever they products and brands that they owned. But apparently, the oldest gun maker has reportedly furloughed more than 600 employees in their New York plant. And it comes in anticipation of the bankruptcy hearing and everything. And there's guys who are out there, hard to believe, 21-year employees sitting on a stone wall outside the plants. You know, he said it's been a roller coaster, furloughs, shutdowns, uncertainties over the past several years, and said it's never been like this before. And this is during a time when gun sales have skyrocketed and maintained the highest levels they've ever been.
Well, my question is, what is Remington doing in New York?
Yeah, well, they started there 200 years ago. And sometimes the familiarity just is hard to get rid of.
Well, sometimes you need to be smart.
But now we're going to see. Okay, now the Remington name is under a big umbrella from some national sports something or other shooting. I can't remember the name. I should have looked that up. But anyway, they're going to split up their company based on bids to buy certain brand names. Certain divisions are being bid. Now, all this is subject to a bankruptcy court's final decision. But I'm going to give you the rundown real quick. Vista Outdoors is the successful bidder to buy their ammunition business.
Cool.
So they're going to buy their ammunition business and be, under the Remington ammunition name. They're going to take care of that. Where's the other one? Okay, I have to try and find these because there's all... Okay, then the Roundhill Group, LLC, is the successful bidder for respect to non-Marlin firearms business. Anything that's not a Marlin. Marlin was under this umbrella. However, here it is. Sturm Ruger is making a bid to take over Marlin Firearms. Yeah. So they've got the lever actions, the bolt action 22s, the semi-auto 22s. They're going to take over all that.
I thought you were transitioning to a deep-sea fishing story.
No. Was I?
Marlin.
Oh, Marlin. Marlin, swordfish, yeah. No. But Roundhill Group, now, if that's what I think it is, they're going to take over Century Arms, Huntsman Holdings, and any non-Marlin firearm business. So hopefully the bolt-action rifle that Remington has become famous for will still be in production if they can keep this up. And Ruger is going to buy the Marlin name, which I thought was kind of odd because they have no lever-action weapons. So maybe that's what they're going for there.
Yeah, maybe. How much you want to bet they buy these and move them out of New York?
Oh, I'm sure they would.
I hope
if
they
have the
offer
capability.
jobs to the people who've been there for years.
Yeah, if they want to move with them, that would, because these guys know what they're doing. I mean,
exactly.
They're
workers,
I don't
good-
see them not being proud of their positions.
Oh, good loyal workers, and I'm sure that they will be offered positions, and hopefully that'll be their opportunity to leave New York.
And Sierra Bullets LLC has been the bidder for Barnes Ammunition and Barnes Acquisitions for that, which is they own Barnes Bullets, which is that's one of their brand names that was under this umbrella. Let's see who else we got. Okay. JJE Capital Holdings was successful bidder with respect to DPMS, Harrington and Richardson, Storm Lake, and AAC and Parker brands. These are some of the other brand names of weapons that were under this Remington umbrella. Harrington and Richardson, been in business well over 100 years. DPMS, if you're familiar with them, they made military-style assault weapons.
I have an AR-15 from them.
And Parker is one of the oldest brands of shotguns that's produced in the United States, and they have rights to them. Now, Franklin Armory Holdings was a successful bidder for the Bushmaster brand name. Now, if you don't know who Franklin Armory is, they're the guys who invented the binary trigger system, which, in case you're not familiar with the binary trigger, means you have 3 settings on the gun. One safe, no pew. Put it on fire, pew, pew, pew. Put it on the third setting, and it fires on the pull and on the release every shot. So it basically doubles your firing capacity.
Better than a bump stock.
Oh, yeah, because you can have accurate fire and just double your firing rate as fast as your trigger finger works. Some guys, like the super fast shooters, they'll find this very effective. And if you're a slower shooter, you can still increase your rate by twice. And still maintain target, not have to worry about a stock, something bouncing
Nothing
around on a
bumping.
rubber band trying to work.
Exactly.
You know, I want to throw in something here right quick.
Toss it in the ring.
Buyer beware. Now, when I say that, there's I can't. I've been sitting here trying to think of the name of the products that are sold on TV, continually using somebody's old name and says, "Oh, and it's name you can trust for
Twinkies."
Well, not only Twinkies, but another. They they sell flashlights.
The name
and
you know.
everything else, huh?
Yeah, the name you know, the name
Yeah.
you can trust. Yeah, they do a lot.
And so good and well at some point, people are going to start saying, well, Remington, 200 years old, and yada, da, 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 da. And we don't know what's going to be coming out.
Yeah, now, anything that Ruger purchases, I'm sure they're going to build a high-quality product. They are an American gun company and have been since the 40s. So I'm sure they're going to do a good job. Some of these other companies, I don't know how involved they are in the outdoor business or the gun business, and I don't know what their ethics are as far as producing weapons, if they're going to try and improve everything, because Remington's had quality issues for years. They've been plagued with it over the last probably 10 to 15 years. They've had recalls and quality issues where they're trying to save money on producing these weapons, and it's ended up biting them in the butt. So hopefully these companies will come in, make them the very best products they
maybe
can, and make them better than they
Maybe
were
they'll
before.
do better. Yeah, it sounds like Remington might have been suffering from bad management and bad decisions.
Oh my God! How else could you fail in an atmosphere where guns are being sold at millions a month?
Exactly. Which leads me back to manufacturing in the highest tax state in the union.
Yeah,
New York.
that probably didn't help much.
That couldn't have helped.
That's got to be bad.
Were they owned by Arthur Blank?
No. Oh, you mean they can blow a lead at any point?
You can blow. Even I know, Roger, people are probably very impressed that you and I
know anything about
what
football.
he was referencing, because the Falcons, yet again, blew another lead.
They blow
They're
every
good at blowing. And we should just stop right there.
Okay. And Sportsman's Warehouse is going to be the successful bidder to the TAPCO brand, which, in case you don't know, TAPCO makes accessories for ARs, AKs, and a variety of other weapons that are considered reasonable quality at a good price. So there you go. That's how Remington is going to be split up if the bankruptcy court agrees. I think it's today They're supposed to settle. The court hearing
settle?
is today
That'll
to
be
decide
good.
whether these go or not.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Trump's going to announce it.
Now
Maybe.
that would be awesome during the debate. Not only were you creating manufacturing, we just took one manufacturing and turned it into 10. That
no.
would be awesome.
Now, this I missed. Okay, the Vista Outdoors was a successful bidder for the ammunition. However, they have a backup bid from Sig Sauer. So if this bid does, the first bid from Vista Outdoors is going to go through, Sig Sauer is going to buy Remington's
That goes
ammunition
fall.
business.
Sig is going to be in the.
So that'll be interesting.
Now
yeah,
that
to
I
see.
could, just like Ruger.
Now, I would,
if
yeah.
Sig's not going to let anything go bad
Yeah,
quality.
I don't think they will. Vista
They'll
Outdoors is a
go with
huge
that.
company, and I think they've been very successful with
Yeah,
everything
Vista
they've
Outdoors
touched.
has been around
but-
for a while.
But I just wonder, in the Roundhill Group, I have not done any research as to them, as to what they own.
Not familiar
And if they take over the Remington brand, I'm curious to see what they do with that, because that's a lot of potential there.
And what will be left under the Remington brand?
I
The,
thought of it.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We have a
Bell
thought.
and Howell.
Oh.
You see it on TV. Oh, your name you trusted.
Yeah, they
And
sell
don't
sunglasses
make,
now,
They
don't
don't
they?
make a damn thing anymore. They're out of. They've been long gone. They sold
It's like the
brand.
it's like
And
the
they-
Stratton
it-
motor. Do they still make?
Who?
Are they Stratton? Is it the Biggs and no
Briggs and Stratton?
Briggs and Stratton? Yeah. Do they still
Briggs
actually, or
and
did they
Stratton.
sell?
Yeah, no, they're still
They
out there.
still okay.
Yeah, they're still making those lawnmower engines, blower engines, all that little stuff. Yeah.
All right, okay, just checking. But yeah,
But this
that's a
is
good
what.
point.
So this is the future of Remington. Hopefully, these companies will do a better job than Remington did, build better products, and be able to keep Remington alive for another
Yeah,
200
for another
years
200
with
years.
better products than ever before. I'd love to see that, because
I
it's
don't think you'll be around for that.
no, but I'm
Well,
just hoping.
Biden's made it 180 years. I mean, who knows? We
Yeah.
might get what he's
You-
getting.
and you think Mr. B is going to make it another 100 years? I don't
think he's going to make it
so.
another 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, he needs to
man.
just go off into the pasture, retire, have a good time, play with the hair on his legs.
He needs to retire with Corn Pop.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, go find Corn Pop. They were friends apparently before.
A little dignity, Joe. I know you're sick, and I know you can't help it.
Yeah, just go out with.
Let
this.
Kamala take over if you have to.
She already is. If you listen to Kamala, it's the Harris administration with Joe Biden.
Let her get ahead of this thing.
Yeah.
Let her go down in
Let
history as
her
the
go
leader of this.
Down.
Biden should ask, am I going to get my own bathroom in the White House?
I would love for him to have one of his really just dumb.
As sad as it would be
Sidetracks and-
so entertaining.
I know. You know what? It would be sad, and I don't want. I don't wish for that, but it would be funny.
Oh my God, yes.
As all get out to watch him just come out and just go, "What am I doing here?"
What was it? What was I talking about? What was you know the thing?
You know what? Oh, I got to say this before we end. This is my wish for tonight. I want Trump to turn to Biden at some point. When Biden gets frustrated, I want Trump to turn to him and go, well, Joe, how are we going to beat this Biden guy? How are we going to defeat Biden? And I bet Biden would go, well, I'm going to beat Biden. I bet, because that would be
Trump just-
great.
In the Senate race.
In the Senate race. Oh, that
Trump
would
just
be
needs to turn to him and go, "Come on, man."
Yes, he needs to turn and go, come on, man. How are we going to beat Biden? And Joe would, well, I'm going to beat Joe Biden. Let me tell you how.
Oh, God.
It would be great.
It'd be. I mean, this
Sad, but
debate.
it'd
I
be
think
fun.
it's going to be. It should have been a pay-per-view event.
It should have been pay-per-view.
I would have
because it
paid to
would have
watch
brought
this.
in millions.
Oh my God.
I think I'll just make the prediction. It's probably going to be the most watched debate, if not TV show ever.
Yeah, and it's funny because
Hey,
I thought he wasn't going to make it to any of these debates. I really thought
I
he wasn't
still
gonna
think
make
he
it.
may back out tonight. Remember what happened in 2016 when Trump showed up and debated Hillary? The line that everyone remembers, nothing is remembered from that debate except for Hillary saying, well, making some law and order comment, and then Donald Trump, without missing a beat, looked and said, because you'd be in jail. Drop the mic. That was it. That debate was over.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
We had
bring
Law
it
and
on,
Order, you
Joe.
gotta make sure. Yeah. Well,
Come
there
on.
was also the thing with. Oh, there we go. We can't. No more today.
No more today.
Okay, everybody, stock up on your guns and ammo, whatever you can find. Get what you can. Defend yourself. Take care of yourself. I am Roger B. This is Locked and Loaded, and you've been listening to America's Web Radio.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the America's Broadcast Network.